The movie begins in 1989 with teenage high school basketball star, Mike O'Donnell, practicing his shots. Coach Murphy advises him to relax since a scout is coming to the game that night, and Mike has a great chance of earning a scholarship. The coach gathers the players for a photo, but Mike insists on waiting for Ned, the waterboy. Ned Gold enters, dressed as Harry Potter, tripping over his robe. They pose for the picture, but as it's taken, one of the jocks gives Ned a wedgie, making him jump. Game time. Mike joins the Hayden Warriors cheerleaders in their routine, dancing and entertaining the excited crowd. As he readies himself for the game, he sees his girlfriend, Scarlett, by the rafters, waving at him. She appears hesitant, and when he asks what's wrong, she shares some heavy news, leaving him dazed. As the game starts, Mike's mind is elsewhere. He just stands on the court, dribbling the ball, deep in thought. Everyone watches, shocked at his inaction. He watches Scarlett walk away sadly, then decides to throw the ball away and run after her. The coach watches the scout close his book. Mike catches up with Scarlett and promises to be there for her. She says he has a future, but he insists the baby is his future. Mike wakes up in the present day at his friend Ned's house. Now a billionaire, Ned discusses Mike's recent eviction by Scarlett, his ex-wife, and their children's reluctance to be with him. However, Mike is excited about a potential promotion at work. At Wyatt Pharmaceuticals, Mike attends a meeting about a new drug that offers a 4-hour erection. When the promotion goes to one of these women, Mike confronts his boss, Dean. Despite Mike's 16 years of service compared to the woman's few months, Dean dismisses his concerns. Upset, Mike leaves the job, taking his belongings with him. Mike visits his old school, Hayden, where he walks onto the empty basketball court and reminisces. He sees his old 1989 photo in the trophy cabinet when the school janitor appears and recognizes him. The janitor says Mike was a high school star who didn't live up to his potential and that people often return to relive their glory days. Mike admits he prefers the past. The janitor smiles as Mike's daughter, Maggie, and her friends approach. The janitor vanishes, and Mike tells Maggie he's taking her and her brother for ice cream, practically forcing them to join him. At the ice cream shop, Mike, Maggie, and Alex sit silently at a table. Mike tries to engage Alex in a conversation about joining the basketball team, but Alex only gives non-committal responses. After dropping them off at home, Mike sees Scarlett in the backyard, throwing his belongings into a wood chipper. Their divorce isn't final yet, but she's already distancing herself from him. She's angry about his constant complaints about how his life could have been different. He admits he's disappointed with his life, and she tells him they're not holding each other back anymore. They'll see each other in court. Her friend, Naomi, arrives, and she and Mike exchange antagonistic remarks. Naomi advises Scarlett to get back in the dating game, and Scarlett bids Mike farewell before going inside. Feeling unhappy, Mike leaves as it begins to rain. While driving, his car radio malfunctions, switching stations rapidly. As he crosses a bridge, he notices a man, the janitor from Hayden High, about to jump. Mike stops to help, but the janitor smiles at him and vanishes as a truck passes by. Mike looks over the edge and sees a whirlpool with his younger self reaching out to him before he falls into the water. Later, Mike arrives at Ned's house, soaked and muddy. He showers and then screams when he sees his reflection. He's returned to his teenage appearance. Ned wakes up, hears the scream, and enters the bathroom armed with a Spartan helmet and battle axe. Panicking, he attacks the young-looking Mike. They scuffle, with Mike trying to explain who he is while defending himself from Ned. Eventually, Mike convinces Ned of his identity by recalling past events. Ned finally understands, but accidentally knocks Mike out with a picture frame. When Mike regains consciousness, he and Ned try to comprehend what happened. Ned, after asking numerous sci-fi questions, concludes it must be spirit god transformation magic. Mike deduces the janitor is his spirit god and rushes to Hayden High. He frantically asks students about the janitor's whereabouts but only finds a female janitor who claims she's the only one working there. Mike then spots Alex and tries to talk to him, but Alex runs away. Mike notices flickering lights and a water trail leading to a door, which he follows to the basketball court. He returns to Ned's house and declares he's going back to high school. Ned is doubtful, but Mike is determined. Initially, Ned wants no part of it, but soon enough, he's introducing Mike as a new student, Mark. Mike dresses eccentrically, resembling Kevin Federline. As they meet Principal Jane Masterson, Mark bumps into Stan, a bully. Ned falls for Jane at first sight. With Ned's falsified documents, Mark is admitted to the school. Ned tries to flirt with Jane, but Mark pulls him away. As they walk the halls, students stare at Mike's unusual attire. The following day, he arrives at the school in a flashy sports car, donning a trendy and respectable outfit. People turn their heads as he strolls into the building. Once in the hallway, the bell rings, and students flood the area, jostling and bumping into him. In class, he receives a call from Scarlett, notifying him that he's late for their divorce hearing. He attempts to deceive her, claiming he's abroad, but the cheerleaders' voices in the background betray his lie. Spotting Maggie in the room, he claims he's closer to the kids than she realizes and asks for a reschedule. During gym class, he discovers that he still has his basketball prowess and catches the attention of Coach Murphy, the same one, just 2 decades older. Impressed, the coach invites Mike to tryouts. In the restroom, Mike calls Ned to share the exciting news. After ending the call, he finds Alex duct-taped to a toilet. Enraged, he inquires who did it, and Alex reveals it was the basketball team. Surprised by his son's lack of popularity, Mike introduces himself as Mark Gold, the son of his uncle Ned. He begins to free Alex from the tape, causing him discomfort. They head to lunch, where Mike suggests they should have each other's backs. Alex seems intrigued by Nicole, the head cheerleader. Just then, the basketball team, led by Stan, barges in. They shove smaller students aside and snatch their lunches. Stan is also Maggie's boyfriend. Observing Maggie and Stan's affection, Mike is unhappy that she's dating a bully. When Stan approaches and harasses Alex, Mike defends his son. He verbally humiliates Stan, labeling him a bully and a jerk, all while skillfully spinning Stan's basketball, earning cheers from the entire school. Later at Ned's, Mike indulges in junk food, feeling disheartened that his son is a target for bullies and his daughter is dating one. He realizes his spirit path involves helping his children. He visits his ex-wife's house and sees Alex practicing basketball. Impressed by Alex's skills, Mike concludes that joining the basketball team is part of his spirit path. Just then, Scarlett and Naomi arrive. Alex introduces Mike as Mark, Ned's illegitimate son. Slightly intoxicated, Scarlett is taken aback by Mike's resemblance to her husband. She playfully pinches his cheeks, commenting on the similarity, before Naomi intervenes and suggests she should pursue someone else. Mike tosses the ball at Naomi, feigning an apology but politely criticizing her for attempting to set up a married woman. The next day, at school, he enters the class and spots Stan and Maggie kissing. The day's lesson is abstinence. Mike proclaims it's an excellent idea and suggests everyone pledge to abstain from sex. Realizing that abstinence isn't likely, the teacher promotes safe sex by distributing a box of condoms, much to Mike's dismay. Mike declares he doesn't need any because he'll only sleep with the girl he loves, and sex should be reserved for married couples to have children. As he passionately describes the joy of having a baby, he inadvertently touches the girls' hearts. They promptly return the condoms. Enraged, Mike confronts Stan, and a fight ensues, with Mike ending up on the losing side. The altercation is recorded on students' phones and circulated throughout the school. A humiliated Mike is summoned to the principal's office, accompanied by his father, Ned, who dresses to impress Principal Jane. In her office, he attempts a wild seduction technique, but Jane dismisses him. Mike visits Scarlett's home and finds her in the yard, preparing to work on her garden. She takes him to the backyard and shares her plans for sprucing it up. Accidentally, he calls her Scar, and she picks up on it. He offers his assistance. Mike trains Alex in basketball, helps Scarlett with the garden, and tries to keep Maggie away from Stan, while Ned persistently flirts with Jane. Following the tryouts, both Mike and Alex make the team. Scarlett is ecstatic to hear the news. She shows them the completed backyard, which looks fantastic. Mike praises her work and suggests she start her own business. She's flattered. She mentions she has a date that involves dancing. He observes her practicing her dance moves in front of a mirror and asks her to teach him. They dance quite well together. He inquires about her husband and whether they'll ever reconcile. She's fairly certain they won't. Alex interrupts them, feeling a bit uneasy witnessing their dance. He announces that Scarlett's date has arrived. Her date turns out to be Mike's former boss, Dean. Mike is infuriated and tries to dissuade Scarlett from going, but she leaves with Dean nonetheless. As they depart, Stan arrives to take Maggie to a party. The party takes place at a bowling alley. While searching for Maggie, Mike is intercepted by 3 of her friends, Jamie, Samantha, and Lauren, who try to seduce him. He attempts to reason with them, but his words fall on deaf ears. He leaves, mumbling that it's another father's problem. As Alex nervously chats with Nicole, he inadvertently gets too close to a candle, and his pant leg catches fire. He dashes to the restroom. Mike locates Maggie and sits beside her. He questions her attraction to Stan. She curtly informs him that she and Stan plan to move in together after high school. He'll work at Home Depot while she attends community college nearby. Mike refuses to let this happen and angrily forbids her from seeing Stan. She becomes angry and storms off. The following day, a basketball game is in progress. Scarlett attends with Dean. Hayden High is trailing by a few points. Mike notices Stan kissing Maggie and becomes enraged. With mere seconds remaining in the game, Mike must decide whether to pass the ball to Stan or Alex. He opts for Alex, who scores and secures a win for Hayden. The crowd erupts in celebration, although Stan is furious. Nicole congratulates Alex, though his anxiety nearly spoils the moment. Post-game, Ned corners Principal Jane and invites her to dinner. After some persuasion, she accepts, but requests no flashy gestures from Ned. To help Alex with Nicole, Mike announces a party at his place. Later, he finds Maggie in tears and approaches her. She tearfully reveals that Stan dumped her for refusing to sleep with him. Immensely relieved, Mike comforts her. However, she misinterprets his fatherly advice and attempts to kiss him, but he dodges her and extends an invitation to the party. Word of the party soon spreads throughout the school. At Ned's house, the party is in full swing. Mike observes Alex finally connecting with Nicole. Meanwhile, at an upscale restaurant, Ned attempts to act sophisticated in front of Jane but fails. He admits he's a geek. Surprisingly, she reveals she's just as much of a nerd by quoting Lord of the Rings. Back at the party, a drunk Stan tries to apologize to Maggie. However, she dismisses him and claims she's with someone else. Mike intervenes and tells Stan to leave before he calls the police. Stan insults Maggie, prompting Mike to take a swing at him. He misses. Upon awakening, Mike discovers his head resting on Maggie's lap as she strokes his hair. He quickly pulls away, but she pounces, thinking it's a game. To deter her, he claims he has another girlfriend. She accepts this and departs. At the restaurant, Ned and Jane engage in conversation using the Elvish language, culminating in Jane asking, "Your lair or mine?" The party at Ned's house starts getting out of hand, with kids tampering with Ned's prized possessions. Scarlett arrives, searching for Alex. Mike informs her that Alex now has a girlfriend and offers to take her to them. When Ned returns home, he's furious about the mess and, with Principal Jane's help, expels everyone from his house. Scarlett and Mike watch Alex and Nicole share a kiss. She's overjoyed and thanks Mike for being a positive influence. As they converse, Mike impulsively kisses Scarlett, shocking Maggie and her friends who witness the act. He pursues her, admitting he's not Mark, but her husband and the father of her children. Maggie confronts Mike, calling him a pervert and slapping him, followed by Samantha, Lauren, and Jamie. Jane tells Ned this is why she avoids dating parents of students and departs. Mike apologizes to Ned, who slaps him a few times, declaring them even. The next morning, Ned cleans the aftermath of the party while Mike laments his mistakes. He must attend court for the divorce proceedings. Using a police siren, Ned drives him there in his convertible. At the courthouse, Ned storms into the courtroom, pretending to be a lawyer. Mike shouts that he has a letter from Mike O'Donnell. Scarlett requests to hear it. Mike reads the heartfelt letter, tearfully reminiscing about meeting Scarlett and expressing his love for her. He apologizes for blaming her for his failures. He doesn't want a divorce but loves her and wishes for her to move on. Scarlett listens emotionally. Once finished, the judge orders him to leave. As he exits, leaving the paper behind, Scarlett requests the judge to postpone the hearing. She examines the paper, finding only directions written on it. This revelation helps her start to comprehend the truth. At Ned's place, while Mike plays basketball, he admits to Ned that his family is better off without him and that he can move on. At Scarlett's house, she examines their high school yearbook, focusing on Mike's 1989 photo. She notices a wedding band and a note on the hammock, with Mike apologizing for not finishing what he began. On the basketball court, reminiscent of the opening scene, Coach Murphy approaches Mike, informing him about an upcoming scout visit and that Mike is a sure bet. A team picture is taken. As the game is about to commence, Scarlett and Maggie arrive. Maggie tells her mother that she intends to attend Georgetown. Ned approaches Jane, expressing his desire to be friends. After some geeky banter, it appears they're back on good terms. The game begins, and Mike strikes the same distinctive shooting pose for Scarlett, mirroring the movie's opening. Now fully comprehending the situation, Scarlett stands and starts to leave. As before, Mike spots her near the rafters, about to exit. With the coach, the crowd, and the scout all present, Mike makes a decision. He hands the ball to Alex and rushes out. As he does so, the janitor, who is his spirit guard, watches with a smile. Mike chases after Scarlett, and as he runs, his vision wavers before a flash occurs. Scarlett appears, questioning if it's really him. It's Mike's older self, her husband. He professes his love for her and his desire to be with her, vowing to make amends. She forgives him, and they share a kiss. With Alex's help, Hayden High wins the game. During the credits, Mike visits Ned's bedroom to express his gratitude, only to discover Principal Jane beneath the sheets. Since Coach Murphy retired after 20 years, Mike is now the new coach. Ned presents him with a brand new whistle.